Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, the place where we talk about all things manifestation, soul alignment, healing, personal growth, and so much more. Today's a special day. It's my birthday and I wanted to make this video because as I look back into my life, I look back to my previous years, I'm so grateful to celebrate who I am today because I became aware of those 3 limiting beliefs I didn't know I had. And so if I look at my life today, I can see the expansion, the growth, the path that I've taken, how far I've come, and I would say that the results that I have and the joy that I experience, the love that I experience today is really the manifestation of letting go of those 3 limiting beliefs. And since I didn't know I had them, I'm pretty sure you don't know either. And so I decided that it would be fun to get ready together and that we talk about these 3 limiting beliefs that are probably blocking you without you even knowing. So let's get into the video. Pardon the noise, there's construction going on and it started right at the same time that I decided to record, but this is more important. So the first limiting belief that you probably don't know that you have is that you believe that emotions are weak. Emotions make you complicated. Emotions make you blank. So this conditioning has been ingrained really deeply within us, and most people avoid feeling their feelings because of the meaning we've made of us feeling our feelings. When we talk about this like that, it really doesn't make any sense to think that having feelings is wrong or makes us something bad. And I understand that this is deeply rooted in each of us because of what society has taught us and what society promotes. And so society is mainly based on masculine energy, and feminine energy has been repressed for many years. And this is why we have disconnected with our emotions. The thing is that our emotions are literally the doors to our power. Think about that. Our emotions are literally the flavors of life. If we didn't feel anything, then there wouldn't be anything to feel. And what would have been life without feeling anything? I don't know about you, but no flavors doesn't excite me. Like eating plain something is not really fun. And the thing as well is that emotions are energy in motion. Emotion, energy in motion. And so when we disconnect from our emotion, we are disconnected from our energy. And I know we've labeled some emotion as good, that we allow ourselves to feel, and then we label others as bad, uncomfortable, and things to avoid. The reason I'm talking about this today is that yesterday I was presented with a situation that triggered some sadness, and I had things to do. I had a meeting to get to, and I didn't have time to process that. I did not have time to feel them, and that was my story in my head. I don't have time for this. It's too complicated. I don't want to go there. As I told you, this storyline this narrative is not part of who I am anymore. It still shows up, but the difference is that now I am aware of that story and I act differently. I act accordingly to stay in alignment with who I am and who I want to become. And for so long in my life, I was afraid to feel my feelings, and I would be doing a lot of things not to feel them. I was literally repressing them, denying them, trying to distract myself to not feel what I was feeling. But in the long run, what they don't tell us is that that energy that we disconnect from is leaking from us. And when there is an emotion that is dense, like anger, frustration, sadness, when we cut the flow of that emotion, where do you think it goes? If something is flowing inside of our bodies to inform us of something, and then we decide not to feel it, we literally shut down the flow. And so it stops moving. And when it stops moving, it stays in the body. And it's no coincidence that we say you attract who you are, and who you are is the electromagnetic field that you're emanating at every moment, meaning the frequency you're vibrating at. But when we have so many repressed emotions, which are the dense emotions, our energy field is jam-packed. It is clogged. It is dense and it's heavy. And we wonder why we try to manifest things that will make us feel better, but we don't allow our energy to move. Once I caught myself yesterday, I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling, and there's a way and a place to allow ourselves to feel our emotions. Some places are not safe, like being in the middle of a work conference or a work meeting, or you're at the grocery store and you're surrounded with strangers. Of course you don't want to start crying or feeling your heavy feels somewhere you don't feel safe. But we have to take responsibility to hold ourselves, because when we disconnect from our emotions, the only thing we're telling ourselves is that we are not important, that we are too much. And I'm sure you've already felt that way when you were feeling a certain way with someone else. Let's say an ex-partner, even maybe your parents, a friend, a boss, whatever. I'm sure you've been in the situation where you were feeling your feels and overwhelmed with any type of emotion, whether it's frustration, anger, sadness, anxiety, and all you felt about you feeling that was shame or guilt, or like you're being too much. And I've carried that for so long, but the moment I allowed myself to finally connect back with my emotions and hold myself through them is when I finally started feeling free, feeling confident, and reconnecting with myself. Because how can we expect to be fully ourselves if we deny a part of ourselves? We cannot be open and closed at the same time. We cannot be like, oh, I want it all, I want the positive things, but we are still in the negative energy, in the denser energy. I don't want to say negative and positive in terms of good or bad. I'm talking about energetics. We live in a dualistic plane where positive and negative exist, dark and light exist, but either darkness or light is either bad or good, is what we make of it. And I'm not really good at talking and doing my makeup at the same time, as you can see. I get in my flow. But to conclude that the reason we are not aware that this limiting belief is blocking us is that there's very few people in our society that gives us the example. Growing up, we probably didn't have any models showing us what it was to connect with our denser negative emotions in a healthy way, in a way that empowers us. And so I know it's scary, I know it's unknown territory, and I know most of us are so afraid to going into our darkness, which is our emotions that feel uncomfortable. But yeah, the moment you finally allow that energy to move is the moment you reclaim back your power, and it's the moment you actually become magnetic, because you're super powerhouse of energy. You let it move, you let it flow, and you don't keep dense energy with you. You allow it to move, and so it transmutes, and through that emotion you discover the gift, the message that was behind it. Because that's the thing we forget. When we feel negative emotions, it's not just because. It is our body, our unconscious, our energy informing us that there's something for us to discover. It is an opportunity to listen to ourselves. And yes, sometimes when we feel those emotions, it comes from a trigger, an overreaction of an old trauma. But sometimes, even through those triggers that maybe are overacting, it's through those moments that we allow ourselves to actually dissolve that overreaction. And through that dissolving, we learn the inner resources to better show up for ourselves, to detach from those events, situations, people that makes us feel bad or that create that trigger. And through that we grow and expand. So that will be the first one. As you can see, I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But the second one is the same kind of flavor, if I could say, because it's still tinted by the overuse of our masculine energy and the repressing of our feminine energy. And it is believing that when you hustle, you work hard, you have more results, or that the only way to have what you want in life, to get what you want in life, is to work hard. You know, the no pain, no gain mentality? That couldn't be more false. It couldn't be more false. If we live in an abundant world that is ruled by universal laws, cosmic laws, like the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of compensation, all of those laws make our reality work. And so if we attract who we are, and if like attracts like, how hustling, suffering, pushing ourselves hardly is gonna make us feel successful, at ease, expansive, and bliss. You cannot manifest something that is not. Meaning that if your energy to approaching your dreams is a hustle, working hard, no pain, no gain. My camera was overheating, so I had to close it and I forgot what I was saying. But the whole point of the fact that believing that hustling is the way to success is a limiting belief is that when you take that in consideration, hustling leaves out a lot of things, including your intuition, the flow of life, the importance of rest, the importance of reflection, the importance of taking a pause. Nature doesn't always hustle. Nature grows, then dies, then feeds the soil to grow again. When you look at a tree, a flower, anything, there's a cycle. And so believing that the only way to success is hustling is keeping our society in burnout. Because our nature is not to hustle all the time. And it would be really limiting to believe that to get where you want to be, you always have to push yourself. It has to be pushing and pushing and pushing. But when you reflect back on that and you connect to the truth, what is meant for you will never miss you. That is a fundamental truth. Because there's things you came here to do on this earth, and so it's not true that you will miss them. The only way to miss them is to stay in your ego and not listen to your soul, which your soul already knows everything and it's communicating with you all the time. So the only way to miss what is meant for us is to actually stay in those limiting beliefs and push for no reason. Because when we're fully connected to ourselves, we know when is the right time, what is the right action. And I'm sure you've experienced that, and I've experienced that many times in my life, in my fitness journey, in my content creation. Many areas of my life I've used hustling mentality to try to get where I wanted, and it didn't work. I would push myself so hard and still yet no result. Why? It wasn't because I wasn't not hustling enough or pushing myself enough. It was because I was taking action from the wrong place. I was taking action from my ego instead of my soul. And because life wants you to expand, it will present you with the situations, the people, the circumstances to reflect back to you where you are not free and where you're still creating resistance in your life. And so hustling, in my opinion, and from what I've experienced in my life, believing that hustling is the only way or is the way to success only creates more resistance. Because still, you're in the control, you're in the pushing energy, you're in the overflow of masculine energy. And when there's overflow of masculine energy, rigidity is created, stuckness is created. And so sometimes letting go of control and bringing some detachment about our limiting beliefs, which the hustle itself starts to fade away, and more connection to ourselves, then when we take action and when we move in life, it becomes impactful. There's movement because our energy is aligned with our truth, with our soul, and so there's no need of hustling anymore. Everything becomes effortless because there's a bigger power, a bigger energy helping us move through the world. And I'm sure you've already experienced that too. You know, the days where you wake up and it's sunny outside and you have an exciting thing coming up today and you know it's gonna be a good day, and you just connect to that excitement, passion, good feeling, knowing there's so many things, exciting things coming up, and your day just flew by and everything goes well and everything is perfect. And you have other days where you want things to happen and you have this and you should do this, you have to do this thing, and then you try and it doesn't work, and then you're forcing again and it's complicated and you feel all over the place and things are not clicking. Well, that's a perfect example that hustling and forcing doesn't help you move faster or better at all. Still not doing my makeup For those who know me, when I get in my flow, I'm unstoppable. And I don't need to hustle. I don't need to force. It just happens. Because I allow it to move. You see? This moment of pause. It's nice. I encourage you to shift your perspective and to start seeing those moments of pause when things are not working, where you're seeing yourself forcing a little bit too much. That maybe this moment right now is not about pushing more. Maybe this moment is to retract yourself, to relax, to release, to pause. And in that moment, what often happens is that you're creating the space for the thing to surge back, for the thing to click, for the thing to move, for the inspiration to come. So how can you create more of those moments where you allow? And allowing is not an active act. It's just creating the space. Something to consider, something to ponder on, contemplate. I'm curious how fast this will change things for you. I'm curious. The final and last limiting belief is a more generalized one, but I know everyone has, because again, we came in the same time on Earth, and so we have the same collective baggage to work through together. We decided to be partners in crime for this lifetime. And so the last one is the belief that people must see you in order to see yourself. That people must validate you so you finally feel validated. In other words, the limiting belief is thinking or believing or waiting for someone else or something external of us to give us back our power. Whether it is validation, whether it is love, whether it is acceptance, recognition, anything. That very belief is the belief that is causing us, all of us, to hold back from living our best life. We think that we need permission from an outside source, whether it's a person, a culture, a group of people. We believe that we need permission from them so we finally feel ready, feel convinced that we can do what we want. And the funny thing about that is that, like any other limiting belief, the belief is often, or not to say always, but almost always, the illusion, and the opposite is the truth. When you finally decide to see yourself, when you finally have your own back, when you finally love yourself, is when everything shifts. Is when you actually create the life of your dreams. Is when you actually feel celebrated, appreciated, and loved. Because that hole that you were feeling inside and trying to fill it with something external, it was not matching. Let's say your hole is a square and the validation is a star, and you try to put the star in the square and it doesn't fit. And so you feel like you need more stars to fill it because there's still a hole inside. But it was never to look for stars. It was to look for your own validation, your own thing that could only come from within to feel that. Because the resonance of them clicking together was you and you together, not anybody else. And for me, it still shows up in many different ways, like any human, and it's a work in progress. I would say that that one is the main thing that we forget. That everything in life is self-sourced. That everything in life comes from within. And that our external world, our life, is a reflection of what's happening within. And so to wait that the external circumstances, situations, and events change so we feel better is the biggest illusion. Because we have no control over that. Even if we wanted to. We have no control. The only control we have is how we react to those situations, how we feel about that, and if we choose to stay in those situations or not. It's the only control we have. And so that one is the most freeing realization to have. That you don't need permission from anybody to do what you want, to be who you are. And I'm sure someone needed to hear that today, because I need to hear that every day of my life. And many people do. Many people do. It's so easy to get lost in that illusion of separation, when our soul already knows that we are always connected and we're never separated. And the thing that is beautiful is that as we feel that separation, that need of sourcing it from the external world, it's always, always, always a calling, an opportunity for us to look back within. To stop looking away and start looking within. I hope this is eye-opening for you, mind-blowing, mind-shifting, because the moment I started to realize all of those three things is when things started moving in the direction of what I was yearning in my heart, desiring in my heart for so long. And limiting beliefs are the cause of why things are not moving. It's not our circumstances, it's not the events, it's not our luck. It's literally just, as I said in the beginning, the energy what we are emanating all the time. Also, because those limiting beliefs trigger uncomfortable emotions, it comes back to the first limiting belief that emotions are complicated and it makes us weak, and we don't have time for that because it's heavy. So because our limiting beliefs trigger uncomfortable emotions and we are wired to avoid and run away from those uncomfortable emotions, we keep fueling and choosing those limiting beliefs. As they say, the only way out is through, and that's why it's all connected to the first thing we talked about today. When we allow ourselves to feel the discomfort is when we finally allow ourselves to release that. The first step to releasing any limiting belief is awareness, becoming conscious of it. Most of our limiting beliefs are unconscious. They just run on autopilot and we are driven by them without even knowing. That's why I wanted to do this video today. And that's why I talk about those specific ones, because in my opinion and from the clients I've worked with and people around me, we all come back to the main blockages, main emotional blockages, energetic blockages that are often, more often than not, the same thing for all of us. But whether it's that limiting belief or another limiting belief, the way to release them is to become aware of them. And once you're aware of the storyline, the narrative, the ways you convince yourself to continue to believe that because of all the evidence you have, because of this, oh no, but because of this, when you become aware of all those things, you then have the power to choose differently. You then have the power to decide, you know what, I've believed that for a long time now, and I can see that it's not serving me because it's still keeping me in the same patterns, in the same situations that I don't like. So today, I'm going to choose that I don't have to believe that anymore. And that the truth is that I'm a sovereign being that can create whatever she wants. I'm a sovereign being that can create anything I want. And when you rely yourself to that single truth is when you start loosening up the attachment from the other many limiting beliefs that were limiting you. So this is what concludes today's video. Getting ready and talking at the same time is a work in progress for me. But I've still enjoyed doing that with you, and now I'm off to celebrate this existence and the growth that is still to come, the expansion and the magic that is yet to come. And although I'm saying this today because I'm celebrating my birthday, is still the motto of my life. Every day is an opportunity for us to create even more magic. This is something that I believe in every day of my life. Like, there's even more magic to come. It's the motto of my life. It's how I decide to live my life. Because we can choose to see life as a burden, or we can choose to see life as an exploration and an opportunity to explore and discover what is here for us to discover. So I hope that the things that were said today in this video illuminated something inside of you, a spark inside of you, so that you remember your power. And I'm excited for everything that is coming forward for you, for this channel, for life, because I know there's so much more magic that it's yet to come. I know that. And I hope you know too. This concludes this video. Thank you for getting ready with me for my birthday, for celebrating this day. And I hope, even if it's not your birthday, or maybe it is, we're the twins, hi. But if it's not your birthday, that you still celebrate yourself. Because, I mean, you are you. If you have any questions about anything I said today, let me know in the comments. I will answer to them there. And maybe you have questions that can be answered in a longer form video. And so if you have any subject related to this or another thing you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe so you can be aware of the beautiful things that are coming. And thank you for being here. See you soon. Bye.